So this is the euro dollar analysis for Monday the 13th of November. Now, let's just have a look what happened on the 10th of November. So, here we are on the 10th of November. We did see a, let's grab the pen. We did see a retest of a 200 period moving average. We have found a minor support, and we have come up to this dynamic level of resistance, the 400 period moving average. Just here, where we did see this pin bar. So let's clean this chart up a little bit. So we had this pin bar here where we've got a 400 period moving average. We've come back up. We did expect another test before we saw some selling momentum come into the market. At present, it does appear that the selling momentum has come in before a retest of the 400 period moving average. So again, if we do get continuation, depending on how this candle closes, we'll be targeting possibly this 200 period moving average here in around at 116.20. If we break below that, we'll be looking at the very strong minor level, well, very strong horizontal level in around here at 116.12 for a potential bounce all the way back up to, say, that 116.50. Now, if we do turn around before retracing all the way back down there, again, we would like to see a retest of the 400 period moving average or a strong break of the 400 period moving average. If we do break above the 400 period moving average and hold above it, again, we'll be targeting the 17.10 level to the upside, but a break of the 400 period moving average would bring us into a sell zone in around this 1680 and 1710. This 30 pip zone, we will potentially looking for short side trades from there. So price is going up into that zone and providing opportunities to the short side. Now, if we have a look to the downside, however, we'll be looking for prices to come down to the most recent swing low in and around the 115.60. So pretty much from this 116.50 at present all the way down to this 116.50 where we did find support on the 7th of November. Now, just gonna clean that up a bit. And so the levels we'll be looking at below the 1560s, the 115 round number, and again to the upside we'll be looking at that 117.10, above which we're looking at 117.28, and above that 171. Now we're just gonna have a look at the daily time frame and the weekly time frame, as well as the monthly time frame before we wrap up here. So let's get the scale on here correct, and what's happened in the most not too distant past is we had a bit of a range here. It did appear to be breaking down, but buying momentum has come back into the market. We are above that 116.12 key support zone. So if we do get a turnaround, we'll be looking for a potential bounce for a continuation to the upside. Now, the overall structure here on the let's just clean this chart up a bit. So the overall structure on the daily chart does appear bearish. We've got this area here where we did see some selling come into the market, and again over here we've seen some selling momentum come into the market, which brought us all the way down to this zone as well. This was the selling momentum all the way down into the zone identified, and we had pretty much a pretty topping formation just here in around at 120, 121. This being the lower high of the overall trend to the upside, and since then we've had a pretty strong move downwards. So most of that was due to the ECB. So we're just going to go over to the weekly time frame. So here on this weekly time frame, we can see the euro got caught quite a bit after the election of Macron in France, and we've had a strong move to the upside. Now, we have had fundamentals. Let's just put it this way. We have had news events, high impact news events that have turned around against the euro. Like, for example, the ECB press conference, and what was noted in that press conference was their extension of QE to September 2018 and their willingness to act if they see further weakness within the eurozone. So that helped with the turnaround on the euro against the USD, and pretty much all of that came on this weekly candle here in red. So overall, we are still in an uptrend, but due to this pullback here and the nature of the very strong catalyst, we were expecting further continuation even to the downside, even though that would be in contradiction to the overall trend here on the higher time frame. So we're just going to have a look at the monthly before wrapping up. So it's going over to the monthly chart. So here on this monthly chart, we've pretty much let's just see around there. Here on this monthly chart, we've pretty much turned around from previous swing lows in the market. Now we've seen a sell-off over the past 2 months. Last month, the month of October, essentially we had a pretty strong close to the month. We closed close to the lows, not quite at the low for the month, which indicated continuation to the downside. Now we have to see how prices develop from here, but overall the trend on this let's just grab the pen. Overall the goodness me, bear with me a second, having a bit of technical difficulties, and here we are. So we've got a strong move to the upside and the subsequent bearish move more recently. So we could be in a bit of a pullback before we get continuation to the upside. But what we would need is a series of smaller candles indicating that the move to the downside has been halted or negated somewhat before we do see buyers re-enter the market to drive prices onto new highs in light of the most recent trend. So the most recent trend in this example would be bearish, even though the overall trend on the on this higher time frame chart is pretty bullish. I would say it's pretty bullish. The fact that we've got candles closing near their highs, sizable candles as well. So that should wrap up the euro dollar analysis. So before I go, LCS, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching.